Welcome back to GBGuns. We've got the PSA Gen 3 AK pistol with the red furniture and wire style folding brace. Very cool piece, very great value, it seems. We'll take a look under the hood and give you some close-ups coming up next on GBGuns. So after attending the Center 2 course, we got the AK bug, and in preparation for heading over to Serbia and Bulgaria, some great AK country, wanted to pick up some AK pistols for myself and Ms. GBGuns. Bought the Zastavas out of, well, posterity's sake, for my visiting Zastava back in 2015. But then it turned out that Zastava is involved in some shady business under some investigation for potentially some international export crimes. So we wanted to stay clear of that. And we've got the Palmetto State Armory American-made AK pistol. And really, I wish I had bought two of these instead of two of the Zastavas. They appear to be incredibly better value. So first things first, this Romeo 3 reflex sight that's on here is on just in getting ready for the range. It doesn't come on the gun. Picked this up from Optics Planet. Great folks over there. We'll give you 5% off with GBGuns. I don't make any money off of it, but that's the story on that. So taking a look at this thing. First, of course, to show clear, you come back and you can see that that chamber is empty. So looking at AKs. AKs are crafted and not assembled like ARs are. And so that requires there be some skill and attention to detail, well, basically skilled labor, that unfortunately is kind of rare in the US these days. And that's one of the reasons why AKs are starting to cost more. So to find an American-built AK at a very affordable price made me wonder, what's the quality like? So looking at the rivets here, we don't see any dimpling or bulges from the rivets being pushed too far, nor are they sticking out from being too shallow. So those are properly done. The top cover obviously is of their own design, but you notice the safety fits nice and flush and smooth. That's just a personal taste thing for me. The biggest thing is that the safety doesn't get caught on the top of the receiver when you pop up, and it does not. In fact, it's very nice and easy to swing. And you can see you've got detents there at auto and semi, but this of course is semi only. That's just kind of a feature, if you will. It doesn't get caught going too far, doesn't get caught going too high. Very, very important detail. Give you a look at machining and riveting on the backside. Top cover sits nice and tight, and it is hinged, much like other AK pistols. My question when it comes to hinged top covers, especially if they have a rail on them, is are you going to be able to maintain zero? Now with an AK pistol, if it's off a little bit, does it really matter? I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I mount things so far forward, because angle-wise, if there is a little bit off over time, the effect of that is going to be less at the front than it is at the rear. But when it comes to paying attention to this, you can see we've got nice thick joint there that has no play. That movement is me trying to twist or torque this, and it does not want to move at all. The furniture, of course, is very pretty, but that's just a personal taste. The gas block front sight combo is beautifully done, and it does come with the booster here on the front with the wire cutter. If you're wondering what the booster, the concept behind them is that when you have less barrel, you've got less gas to cycle the gun, so it's more important to keep pressure up to keep the gun reliable. And what that booster does is sort of provides an additional chamber and additional back pressure to push on the piston head and keep the gun running. I have never experienced a need for one because I don't fire full auto, but I suppose it's theoretically possible, and it's also, of course, the classic look. if I was going to complain about anything, it would be the slickness of this red wood. It's really pretty, but it's really slippery. Does that really matter on a range toy? No. If you can use this for something more than that, you might want to consider changing it. The brace here does fold. It's got a very stiff mechanism that sometimes I can get to work, sometimes not. Come on. There we go. By pushing up on the bottom there, it folded. And it does kind of lock into place. I wasn't sure if it was locking or not, and in playing with it, broke one of the little tabs on there that keeps it locked. When it comes open, it snaps if you lift up. So, not exactly the quickest, coolest there, but the look of having a wire stock, if you will, even though this is a brace, it's all rubber and soft, I think is pretty neat. The aesthetics is purely what I wanted out of that. As far as magazine well cut, we have a bunch of magazines to try out. I'm going to run through them and show you what they do and how they fit. So it comes with one of the Magpul magazines. I'm not the biggest fan of these because, well, the tabs will break and wear down on the polymer without having any metal reinforcement like you see here. That's really where all the force is. And if you're wondering why it matters to test magazine fitment, that's because the length of this tab, how far out it sticks, is different from mag to mag. The longer it is, the tighter the fit's going to be, but it can also be problematic. You shorten it, it gets easy to insert and remove, but if it's too short, it may not lock. Same thing with the surface area and angle of this front hook. So each magazine company is a little bit different, each magazine is a little different, each rifle is a little different. It's just kind of a risk you have to take. So, starting things off with the Mag 47 from X-Tech. Solid lockup, a little bit of wiggle, but nothing terrible, and it comes out very nice and easily. The mag pull that comes with it, very, very solid lockup. A little bit of wiggle, comes out easy. The spring on here is not overly done, which I appreciate. I've had some guns where you just practically break your thumb to get it out there. This is a Bulgarian waffle mag, I believe, that has the 10-20-30 window cut on the back. Rolls in kind of soft, but still locks pretty well. That soft rolling is probably because that tab isn't quite as large as it is on other guns or other magazines. One of the AC Unity metal reinforced mags out of Bosnia. See, that's what I'm talking about. That is a tight fit in and out because this tab is a little bit long. Filing that off, just hitting it with the file a couple times, trying it, hit it with the file a couple times, try it. That's how you get those to fit. It's better that the tab be too long than too short. This allows you to customize it to the gun, but yeah, out of the box, this is a tight fit. One of the new Pro Mags with the steel reinforcement, both in the front, over the back, and of the feed lips. Pro Mag really stepped it up. Smooth, tight fitment. It's a very positive insertion. A little side to side, no front to rear, which is really the important part. This is probably going to be a great mag with this gun. US Palm. This does not have steel reinforcement. Rolls in very easily. Quite a bit of wiggle room. Comes out very easily. Old Soviet surplus steel mag. Goes in very easily. Tons of room there. That thing really rattles. Probably will still run just because that's the way AKs are, but comes out very easily as well. And a nice rusty Zastava mag. It's these have the last round bolt hold open, but yeah, these Zastava mags just rust almost instantly. Rolls in easily. Probably the loosest of all of them, unfortunately. So that's mag fitment and compliance as far as working with your particular brand of magazine. Now we'll field strip this thing and take a look inside the gun. So field stripping this is going to be just like any other AK. We do have the hinged top cover, which is really nice. We're going to push forward and remove our recoil assembly, nice and pretty and rust free. Sure don't see that very often in the Northwest here. With the hammer down, it's a lot easier to remove your bolt and carrier. Comes straight back to the rear and out. Now we can take a peek inside and give you a look at the rails. You can see that they used a plate and not the paper clip shepherd's crook to retain the pins. That's one of the big values on this over the Zastava. It's a really simple upgrade, but it makes a big difference. For those of you not well versed in the AK world, what happens is this plate here, or a spring in other guns, is what keeps your hammer and trigger pins from walking out. And they rest in a little hook or a little line. Come on, English now. They rest in a little divot on those pins, and it helps keep them from popping out. The round paperclip metal that is used in the Zastava guns, unfortunately, will come loose, and what happens with that is these pins begin to try to not only walk out, but they begin to waller and can open up holes and cause misalignment and basically wreck the receiver. This is just sheet metal that's stamped, and if those holes aren't straight, you're not going to have proper alignment for your hammer and trigger, and the gun becomes useless. So good on Palmetto State Armory for adding a couple bucks of financial value, huge long-term value. Looking at our receiver, I get light in there. Let me grab a flashlight. All right, we're back, and I've got a weapon light to give you a better look. Everything's very nice and clean, beautifully assembled. One of the things that makes these Gen 3 PSA guns different is their forgings, which look rock solid. I mean, this is just beautifully assembled gun. Really looking forward to trying this. Our carrier, if I get the light to hit it right, you can see some slight grooves from milling. Our piston is in solid. There is no wobble at all. Pulling the bolt out to give a better look at the tracks there. Fairly smooth, some machining marks. That's usually the ugliest part of an AK, which is odd because that's what the bolt has to rotate in. The firing pin is not spring-loaded. That means you do run the risk of having some little divots on your chambered but not fired rounds. Not a big deal. All serial numbers matching. The gun is assembled as one. And one of the really neat things about these hinge top covers, when they're done right, is it makes reassembly much, much easier. Because you end up without having to fight the alignment on the rear there. And that hammer spring is strong. There we go. So when you're putting the carrier back in, you have to push against the hammer with the carrier, and that can cause a little bit of fighting sometimes. Get our recoil assembly back in, and watch this. Top cover's on. No messing with it whatsoever. Very cool piece. I'm really excited to give this thing a try, see what kind of accuracy we can get. May throw a 1-4 or something like that on this rail for 50 yard. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. 50 yards or 100 yards for pistols in rifle calibers. I've been doing 50 just because I think that's kind of the practical limit for shooting them. But I know sometimes people want 100. If I don't have an optic on this, trying to shoot a group at 100 is kind of ridiculous. You do have a really short sight radius with this thing, and the sight, the rear sight that comes on here is just a tiny notch. Not really set up for accuracy. This is a fun gun. We'll see. I didn't remove the gas tube because, well, there's no reason to. It does pivot nicely. It has a detent there to hold it in place, but you might want to watch that doesn't fly too far. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this guy. This is the PSA version 3 AK pistol with the red furniture. We'll see you on the range.